What's going on, everybody? GoodMicWork Commentaries back at you with your WWE Super Showdown predictions. This is going to be a pretty quick video. I hope to keep this under 20 minutes long. Yesterday on the channel, I released a brand new This Day in History, my review of the WWE Raw Homecoming 2005 show when they returned to the USA Network. It was a really fun review to do, and so far, in the first day, it's got a pretty low amount of views on it. So if you guys would like to check out that video and see what you think, the link is right up there in the top right-hand corner, or you can find it on my YouTube page. In the meantime, kick back and relax for a few minutes and enjoy my predictions. Let me know what you think in the comments below, what your predictions are, what matches you think I might have right, what matches you think I have wrong. And while you're down there, don't forget to click that like button and also subscribe to my channel if you have not yet already, and give me a follow over on Twitter at GoodMicWork, because during Super Showdown, I will not be live streaming my reaction in the middle of the night, so I'm only going to be live tweeting. The show airs at 2 a.m. for me here in California, so it's going to run from 2 to 7 a.m. in the morning, and I'm going to try my best to stay up for all of it. I plan to. I usually stay up pretty late anyway, so if I just add a couple hours to that, what's the big deal, right? And then the plan sometime later on Saturday, after I sleep for a while, is to come up and do a regular YouTube review of the Super Showdown. So keep that in mind for sometime on Saturday or Saturday night. Don't really know what time I'll have that up yet, but it will be up sometime during the weekend. So let's jump right into this show here and start running through these matches. Like I said, I want this video to be quick. I don't have a whole lot of time to work on this, and I want to get it up to YouTube as quickly as possible so you guys have a chance to watch it before the pay-per-view. Let's start at the bottom of the card. Now, I'm going primarily by what's on WWE.com. Right now, I don't see anything listed for any sort of a kickoff show or anything like that, so I'm wondering if one of these, like 10 or 11 matches, is going to be moved to a pre-show or a kickoff show. I really don't know. If any of those matches are, I would probably say it might be the Cruiserweight title match, so why don't we start with that? Cedric Alexander defending against Buddy Murphy. This one's weird because Buddy Murphy is from Melbourne, Australia, correct? So he's a hometown guy. But unfortunately, with WWE's history, they usually don't give a shit if somebody's wrestling in front of their hometown, unless they're Davey Boy Smith in 1992. Most of the time, these wrestlers lose in this situation, but considering Cedric Alexander won the title at WrestleMania, he's had a good long run with it now, and Buddy Murphy is very good. I like him. I like his presentation. I think he's over. He's awesome in the ring. He's got a good look. I don't see any reason not to put the title on him at this point. I think in every match Cedric Alexander has had on pay-per-view up until this point, I've predicted him to win, but now that it's October, I feel like he could probably drop the belt. I'm also not too confident about title changes taking place on these type of shows, but if you're going to have one title change hands, this might be the match to do it in, because number one, it's a hometown guy, and number two, it's a Cruiserweight title that doesn't get as much exposure as some of the other titles, and it's changing hands in front of an arena full of like 80,000 people. So I think this might be a good time to take the belt off of Alexander and give it to Buddy Murphy, so I'm going to predict a title change here and predict that Buddy Murphy will become the new Cruiserweight champion. Speaking of hometown talent, the Iconics also have a tag team match against Asuka and Naomi. Now, when it comes to people winning in their home country or their hometown, I don't know if WWE is going to put them both over, meaning Buddy Murphy and the Iconics. So since I predicted Buddy Murphy to win the Cruiserweight title, I'm going to predict Asuka and Naomi to defeat the Iconics. Now, this is a victory that I feel like the Iconics kind of need, but it's also a loss that I don't want to see Asuka have either. So I'm a little bit torn. So I think Buddy Murphy is going to have the great hometown moment and the Iconics are not. So I'm going to go with Asuka and Naomi to win this tag team match. We've got the SmackDown tag team titles on the line, the New Day taking on the Bar. I love the Bar. You guys know I do. I love the New Day as well. It's kind of hard to figure out where they're going here. It feels like they're making this shit up on the fly with the tag team division. I think the injury to Eric Rowan really kind of threw a wrench in their plans, and they kind of fast-track the belts onto the New Day. I was hoping to maybe pass it off to another heel team. I don't know what the hell's going to go on here. I really have no idea who's going to win this match. So I'm going to reluctantly predict the New Day to retain. In a pretty big match, we've got Daniel Bryan taking on The Miz. Now, the winner of this gets a WWE title opportunity in the future. They have not announced when that match will take place, but I was assuming it would take place at SmackDown 1000, but it may not. It might be at Survivor Series or another pay-per-view or another random SmackDown or at Crown Jewel. Don't really know, but I was all set to pick The Miz to win here because I thought it would be better if he was a heel going in to challenge AJ, assuming that he retains later on against Samoa Joe, and you can somehow try to drag this feud out between Daniel Bryan and The Miz into next year. Because if The Miz beats him, it's going to be 3 victories in a row. And that's pretty much what I was all set to predict here up until yesterday when I finally saw SmackDown Live and saw the way the Go Home show went and Miz one-upping Daniel Bryan yet again. I mean, The Miz has completely owned Daniel Bryan in this feud. I mean, virtually every week on TV, he's getting the upper hand. He's winning all the matches. And here he does it again on SmackDown. Costs Daniel Bryan a match against Shelton Benjamin. And even though I really think The Miz winning might be best for the storyline direction, I think Daniel Bryan's got to win here. So I'm changing my prediction, and I'm going to go with Daniel Bryan to defeat The Miz and go on to get a title shot. And the way I think they can salvage this and still carry on the Daniel Bryan and Miz feud into WrestleMania is if The Miz winds up costing Daniel Bryan the title. You know, maybe Daniel Bryan faces a heel Samoa Joe, or maybe Daniel Bryan has a babyface match with AJ Styles. Either way, maybe The Miz does something to fuck over Daniel Bryan, and that can also continue the feud. Maybe The Miz gets the next title shot after Daniel Bryan, and he wins the title. Maybe at the Royal Rumble. I've thrown out that scenario a couple of times. It's tough to pick this match, but based on what we've seen, the booking of this match and the build and everything that's been going on in this feud between the two, I almost think you got to give Daniel Bryan the win here. So I'm predicting Daniel Bryan to beat The Miz and get the title shot. We've got a tag team match between Bobby Lashley and John Cena taking on Kevin Owens and Elias. This is a pretty easy one to pick. John Cena's not really on TV right now. He's hanging out in China for some reason. I don't know if he's living there, filming a movie, or what, but he's been doing a lot of stuff in China and even putting up some videos on Twitter and social media and YouTube and all this stuff. So Cena's over there. He's making the trip over to Australia to wrestle in this tag team match, and I don't see any way he's going to jump on a plane, go to Australia, and get beat by a couple of guys, especially when he has a teammate as strong as Bobby Lashley. So I think it's going to be a pretty easy victory here for John Cena and Bobby Lashley, so I'm going to predict them. There is the one possibility of a swerve, something that I would absolutely love to see. Maybe after John Cena and Bobby Lashley win and they're celebrating, maybe Lashley turns on him. What do you think? I mean, I know it's kind of a crazy concept, but he's got Lio Rush with him now, and I think Lio Rush could make just as good as a heel as he would a babyface, you know, a cocky, arrogant mouthpiece, you know, running around talking shit to everybody, and Bobby Lashley wouldn't have to do so much because he would have the stick, and Bobby Lashley could just be that big, mean, vicious ass kicker, and that could all start by him turning on John Cena and beating the shit out of him, setting up a future program whenever John Cena returns to TV in the future. Now, that's a long shot, but I think it would be something fun, different, and something that I would actually like to see. But even though I suggest that, I don't see it happening. I think this is probably just going to be a straight up victory for Cena and Lashley, and that's that. Speaking of tag team matches, we got a big one. A 6-woman tag involving Ronda Rousey and the Bella Twins versus the Riott Squad. Now, I don't know the status of Liv Morgan. I tried to look into it this afternoon on the internet, and I didn't see anything regarding her status for Super Showdown, so maybe WWE's waiting to see how she is when they get there. I don't know. So they could remove her from the match and just team up Rousey with, I guess, Nikki, hopefully not Brie. But either way here, I'm going Riott Squad. I am. On Monday night, we saw Ronda Rousey tap out Ruby Riott. She got the big one-on-one victory, you know, where she continued to look very Ronda Rousey-ish. And since she's in there with the Bellas, and there might be some sort of a future program with Ronda and Nikki going into Evolution that we've all heard the rumors about, I think this is where you give the Riott Squad the win. And I'm basing this solely on what we saw on Monday Night Raw. Once I saw Rousey beat Ruby Riott, I'm like, you know what? They should give the Riott Squad the victory here. It wouldn't hurt Ronda at all. It doesn't matter if Brie Bella gets pinned. Who gives a fuck? So I think a loss here wouldn't hurt Rousey at all, and it could further, you know, whatever they're going to do with her and Nikki, especially if the loss comes as a result of some sort of a miscommunication. Doesn't necessarily have to be a heel turn yet. They can hold off the Nikki heel turn for a couple of more weeks. Maybe they just do a miscue. Maybe Rousey nails Nikki or Nikki nails Rousey by accident or something happens and one of the Bellas wind up getting pinned, and the Riott Squad now have a big victory under their belt against two quote-unquote legends and a UFC champion. So that's a pretty big deal. So I'm going with the Riott Squad to win that match. SmackDown women's title on the line. Becky Lynch defending against Charlotte Flair. I don't know this one either. I'm going to predict Becky to somehow retain. I think they're going to do this again at Evolution. I just have that feeling. So Becky should cheat. Becky should do something in this match to score a victory over Charlotte Flair, setting up a rematch at Evolution. So I think Becky Lynch will retain. This is one of those matches that could definitely be a DQ. Wouldn't be surprised at all. Maybe they do something like they did with Samoa Joe and AJ Styles, where Charlotte just gets pissed and snaps and beats the shit out of Becky Lynch, getting getting revenge on all the crap that Becky Lynch has done to her lately, although Charlotte did get a little bit of revenge on SmackDown when she crashed Becky Lynch's poster unveiling or whatever that was. But at the end of the day, Becky Lynch, I think, walks out of Australia as the SmackDown Women's Champion. Big time 6-man match involving the Shield against Braun Strowman, Dolph Ziggler, and Drew McIntyre. Again, this one's a little tough to predict. WWE's thrown some curveballs at us. They're making us think that there might be dissension on both sides here with Dean Ambrose and Dolph Ziggler based on what we saw on Monday Night Raw the past couple of weeks. But I think if you're going into Crown Jewel and Braun Strowman is getting a title shot against Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, and Roman Reigns apparently isn't going to defend the title until Crown Jewel. Baron Corbin said that last week on Raw when Roman Reigns was putting the title on the line against Dolph Ziggler, and Corbin came out and said, no, it's not going to be a title match. You're not defending the title until you go to Saudi Arabia to face Brock and Braun. So since Roman won't be defending the title and Braun is, this big badass monster heel that's getting a title shot in a month, I think not only should Braun Strowman, Dolph Ziggler, and Drew McIntyre win this match, but I think Braun Strowman should pin Roman Reigns. You know what I mean? Just pin the champion on the way to the big title match just to give Braun Strowman more momentum going in, because I really don't see Roman Reigns dropping the title to Braun or Brock in Saudi Arabia. I think Roman Reigns is probably going to hold the title until WrestleMania. So I don't expect a title change. So at least you got to give Braun Strowman this victory. And as much as I don't want to see the Shield lose, I still think it's probably the better thing to do here to give the victory to Strowman, Ziggler, and Drew. So I'm going to predict them. We've got the WWE title on the line. AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe. A lot of personal issues involved here. The shit they've been doing on TV has been incredible. I've been in love with Samoa Joe. This is the Samoa Joe that I love. He has just been an evil son of a bitch, even going as far as showing up at AJ Styles' house a couple of weeks ago on SmackDown. This past week on the Go Home show, Paige was about to fire him, but then she said that AJ Styles begged her not to. He wants to go through with the match in Australia because he wants to be the one to punish Samoa Joe. AJ even did like a really heartfelt interview from his home on SmackDown, talking about his daughter looking under the bed and in the closet for Uncle Joe like he's a boogeyman. Fucking laughed my ass off when AJ said that. So considering everything Samoa Joe has done in this feud, I'm going AJ to retain. I feel bad for Samoa Joe. I really want him to win the title. I think he would be an awesome WWE champion, an awesome heel WWE champion. But AJ Styles is so close to holding that belt for a year. Just let him hold it for a year. And then if you want to have him hold it even longer than that, like the Royal Rumble and break Punk's run, go ahead. Great. I have no problem with that. But at least I want to get through the first milestone of him holding it for a year. So in order to do that, he's going to have to beat Samoa Joe here. And considering all the personal issues involved, I pitched the idea a couple of weeks ago that what would be wrong with a babyface cheating to win in this situation? If you're looking at this like it's real life and some asshole shows up at your house when you're not there, rings your doorbell, threatens and scares the shit out of your wife and kids, don't you think that you are going to do everything in your power to make sure that you beat this motherfucker into the dirt? So what I would like to see AJ Styles do is get his boys, Gallows and Anderson, I say hit the ring during this match, and the three of them just annihilate Samoa Joe into a bloody mess. So that's what I think AJ Styles should do. It's a no DQ match, so Gallows and Anderson should hit the ring and help AJ Styles retain the title. And then maybe you can still do the match down the line. You can still do one more with Samoa Joe, and maybe he wins the belt there. But considering he's had title matches at the last couple of pay-per-views, I just think if they were going to put the belt on him, they would have, kind of thing. So I'm going to predict AJ Styles to walk out of Melbourne still a WWE champion. And that brings us to what is most likely our main event. And that is The Undertaker versus Triple H. And there's a lot of shit going on with this match too. They have really done a good job of building this match, because when it was first announced, I was one of the first people to say, why? I don't get it. I don't give a shit about this match. Why are they making such a big deal about this? To me, this seemed like the exact same type of match that they made at the Greatest Royal Rumble with Triple H and John Cena. Just a random attraction match where the guys are just going to get in the ring, go through the motions, hit their signature moves, and get the fuck out of the ring. But they're making this thing a much bigger deal than that. We now have Shawn Michaels involved, and we have Kane involved. And what they did on Monday night was pretty awesome. Shawn Michaels cut a promo in the main event segment. He was then interrupted by both Brothers of Destruction. Kane and The Undertaker were out there. Triple H hit the ring, and the Brothers of Destruction laid out a bald-headed DX. Did you catch Shawn Michaels with no hair? Oh my God, that's going to take some getting used to, but I'm glad that he did it. He kind of looked a little bit like Justin Credible with the bandana to me. But Shawn is probably going to get back in the ring. One would assume at Super Showdown they're going to set up whatever they're going to do at Saudi Arabia, most likely a tag team match, DX versus the Brothers of Destruction. And in order to get there, I think you have to have Triple H win this match. The Undertaker has beaten Triple H 3 times at WrestleMania, and I think Triple H is overdue for a victory here. Shawn Michaels can interfere or do something to cost The Undertaker the match, leading to the Saudi Arabia tag team match where the Brothers of Destruction will wind up winning, and then maybe that can lead to our Undertaker-Shawn Michaels match that we might even get at WrestleMania. It's possible we'll get it earlier at Survivor Series. I'll be there live to see that. I wouldn't be complaining about that, to sit in the crowd and watch that shit in LA, but they could stretch it all the way out to WrestleMania and do another retirement match. I thought of that as soon as this rumor started. I'm like, wouldn't it be weird if The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels had another retirement match, a second one, and Shawn retired him? I just think that would be cool. 2 guys retired each other. Why the fuck not, right? So I think the beginning of all this is going to start in Australia, and I think Triple H is going to defeat The Undertaker. So there you go. Just to give you a quick recap, I'm predicting Buddy Murphy to win the Cruiserweight title, Asuka and Naomi to defeat the Iconics, The New Day to retain against The Bar, Daniel Bryan to beat The Miz, Cena and Lashley to defeat Kevin Owens and Elias, Becky Lynch to retain against Charlotte Flair, the Riott Squad to beat Ronda Rousey and the Bellas, AJ Styles to defeat Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman, Dolph Ziggler, and Drew McIntyre to defeat The Shield, and Triple H to defeat The Undertaker. So there you go. Wow, I actually think I got a short video up for once. How about that? So like I said, let me know what you guys think in the comments below and what all your predictions are. And join me on Twitter, whatever time you have to get up or stay up to watch this show. I will be live tweeting, so if you're laying in bed watching it or reading your phone, check me out on Twitter. I'll try to have a lot to say on Friday night or Saturday morning when this show is on the air. So you guys take care, and I will catch you Saturday with a Super Showdown review. Until then, peace.